Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai. All praise unto Yahweh, Hashem Yahshai, Wahar Rakakadash. Double honors unto the apostles of Great Millstone. And honest you brothers will be pushing this truth in sincerity throughout the four corners of the earth. So I'm back out here again through the grace and mercy of Yahweh Hashem Yahshai, okay, to get these prophecies out, alright, through the, in the name of Yahweh Hashem Yahshai, by the name of Yahweh Hashem Yahshai. Okay, and pretty much, you know, you got a few things happening out there, okay, within the world, and Lord's will, you know, I'm going to get into some of those topics and just really flow in the spirit and see what the spirit leads the prophecies going into, okay, and like I said, you got a whole bunch of stuff happening out there, okay, you got pretty much the whole world being prepped up for the chip, the RFID chip, the mark of the beast, and that's the next thing for these elites, all right, is to shut down the internet, okay, to take away the brothers from the camps, the different camps that's out there. And remember what the scripture says. The scripture says there was going to be time that was known as the time of Jacob's trouble. Okay, it is a time that was going to be a time where you wasn't going to see the teachers anymore. Okay, because pretty much once you have it to where the internet's on lockdown, okay, you wasn't going to see the teachers anymore. So it's of high importance that it's high, like the scripture says, it's high time that we woke up out of sleep, and there's a reason for that, because we're coming into a time where basically the truth ain't gonna be out there like that. Okay, you was gonna have it to where Esau was gonna move on the different brothers that you got in the different states out there, and then throughout the four corners of the earth, okay, to remove the words of the Lord, or basically the truth being pushed out there, because one of the major snares to this so-called New World Order that they're trying to set up, that Esau's experiencing, is the men of the Lord coming out here pushing this word. Okay, so, you know, let me start with that as the premise, the topic. I'll start within the book of Jeremiah, the 30th chapter, and I'll probably go into the book of Isaiah, the 47th chapter, because the main thing that's being experienced when you got brothers out here pushing the word is what? Is Esau's skirts being lifted up. In all of the wickedness that they do behind the so-called closed doors, that's being exposed. Okay, when they got these so-called secret parties that they're having out there within Hollywood, or the different agendas that they have being pushed out there, you got it to where what? You got it to where the men of the Lord, the different prophets that you got out here, they're pushing it, they're exposing these different things, man. Okay, we're the ones at the forefront of the so-called exposure, okay, the exposing of Esau. Okay, the wicked elite, the so-called banking families that you go out there that run the world, who's at the forefront of exposing it? The men that you know as the prophets of the Lord, starting first and foremost with Great Millstone and all the other different camps that you've got, okay, that come from One West, whatever you want to call it. Okay, so the book of Jeremiah, the 30th chapter, starting at, I'll start from the top, Jeremiah 30:1, it says, the word came to Jeremiah from the Lord, saying, thus speaketh the Lord, okay, the power, the God of Israel, because you got it to where these people think that the Mosai, okay, the Mosai is just a power for everybody. Okay, the Mosai is was the God of Abraham, okay, going down unto Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, okay, who was the children of Jacob, okay, the Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans, and the Israelites scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. Here it is, you got it to where the whole Christian church, okay, or whatever religion it may be, they've got this whole doctrine, okay, which really goes back onto Babylon. You check out what happened at Babylon or whatever, really, whenever you had a nation, a conquering nation, what did they try to do? They had it to where they wanted to have the people underneath one religion. So you got it to where Esau, okay, has conquered the whole world right now, and what religions is he pushing for? Well, what's the main agenda of every other religion that you have? Because they pretty much figured out you can't have everybody underneath one banner. So they've divided all of these different religions up. But the main objective of all of those religions is what? Is to have everybody underneath one banner. Anybody could join. Okay, that's the main essence of all of those doctrines. When you come out here and you read the actual scriptures, you find out that the Mosai was only dealing with the 12 tribes of Israel. The Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. That's what you find out. That's why the scripture says that what? The God of Israel, or the God of Jacob, okay, or the God of Abraham, and so on and so forth. Okay? So let's carry on. It says here, thus speaketh the Lord, Yahweh, okay, of Israel, saying, and when you check out the history, you find out the other nations, they knew about that, man. They recognized that there was a God within Israel, okay, that was different from their God. See, when you had it to where the Ark of the Covenant was taken out there, and it was in the temple of Dagon, man, the Mosai set it up, the Spirit set it up, that idol was what? it bowed down onto the Ark of the Covenant. That Ark represented where the Spirit of the Most High dwelt. Okay? Now, we're in with the times that we're in right now. You don't need that. Because why? Because the whole nation was going to be like a nation of kings and priests. So the Most High was going to dwell with all of the different jakes that you go out throughout the four corners of the earth, starting first and foremost, okay, with the elect. Okay, that goes into the scriptures within the book of Galatians 6 and 16, where it talks about the Israel of the Most High. See, this is where the temple was going to be. Remember, the scripture says the Most High don't dwell within temples made of hands. Okay, but rather wherever two was going to be gathered within the name of the Lord, not in the name of Caesar, okay, not in the name of what's this guy, Serapis Christus, but rather in the name of Yahweh Shai. That's where the Most High was going to be at. But going back onto the topic, these different nations, they recognized that there was a different power that was dwelling within Israel. They didn't try to get down underneath that power unless we was conquering that particular nation, okay? And they recognized that what? That there was a thing of heritage that was within the land of Israel, wherewith the Most High dwelt with the children of the forefathers. That is to say, from Abraham onto Isaac onto Jacob, and so on and so forth. The children born unto Jacob, okay, that's who the Most High was dealing with. Okay, so these different nations, when you go back in the past, they knew about that. Okay, but now we're in this time where you got it to where what? You got this whole doctrine of having it to where everybody's underneath one banner. That goes back onto Babylon. Because Babylon had it to where they wanted to have everybody of one speech, one religion, okay, on one mentality. Okay, now you got it to where what? You got it to where Esau, who's in power right now, they want to bring back the old spirit of Babylon, okay, have everybody underneath one religion, one speech, okay, and underneath one banner. And that's easy for control. You're talking about you want to control a whole nation of people. Well, it's easy if they're all of one religion, and even though they might call these different religions by different names, the essence of it is all the same. Okay, love everybody or love everything. And when you go into the scriptures, you find out that the scriptures weren't dealing with the love of everybody and the love of everything. Matter of fact, you would have had different Israelite children that was born within Israel. Okay, they was the children of the forefathers, okay, righteous men, and the children might have been wicked as all hell. Well, guess what? The Most High would have had it to where that particular individual would have been cut from the camp, so that you could do what? You could remove folly from within Israel. But see, this whole love everybody's spirit, that's why you go to where the Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans are in the terrible situation that they're in right now. Because the tolerance to folly, okay, has reduced. That's why when you go to the book of Ecclesiastes, what did it say? Folly is set in great dignity. Okay, and with folly set in great dignity, you was going to have all types of madness happening, okay, within amidst the 12 tribes of Israel, man. Okay, and the whole world. Okay, because the vibration of the whole world comes from who? It comes from the soul. Okay, you go to the book of Deuteronomy, the 7th chapter, and the 6th verse, it says, the Most High set up the 12 tribes of Israel above all nations that are upon the face of the earth. The Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans set the fashion trends, they set the spiritual trends, they set the psychological trends of all of these people, man. Okay, you talk about sports, you go to where Jake is dominating all types of sports, man. Okay, whether it be football, basketball, okay, swimming, whatever it is, it's the Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans that's dominating those different sports. The only thing that Esau is dominating is those sports where it's difficult for Jake to get into it for financial reasons. Okay, here it is, they're talking about they're the so-called greatest people in the world. They only got the advantage they got because they had the Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans in hardcore slavery, and even then we still got that edge because we got that spirit. But I say that to say this, in that wherever Jake does, that's what these people are gonna do. You got to where Jake is all up into folly. These people was gonna be all up into folly to the end that the scripture within the book of Jeremiah can be fulfilled. That what? Okay, Babylon has been a golden cup within the Lord's hand, and therefore the nations are mad. Okay. Going back onto the scripture here, the book of Jeremiah, the 30th chapter. The book of Jeremiah, the 30th chapter, and this is the 3rd verse. It says, "For lo, the days come, saith the Lord, when I'll bring again the captivity of my people Israel, okay, and Judah." Okay, now let's touch on that particular topic because this is a very important topic. When you're reading the scriptures, you're reading about the Bible, all right? They're saying the Most High has loved this, that, and the third. Okay, so what happened? Well, where's the love for those Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans that was in hardcore slavery? Well, this is the real love that we're talking about. Okay, the fulfillment of the commandments of the Most High, that's love. According to the book of, 2 John 1 and 6. Okay, this is the love. According to his that we walk after his commandments. Now you go to where Jake is coming back onto the words of the Lord. Well, guess what? The Most High was going to show them the love by what? By destroying the wicked society that we're living in, and then establishing a righteous society. Okay, you all right there, my man? You okay?
Carry on, mate.
Okay, cool. All right.
I'm listening to you.
No problem. Okay, so pretty much what you're going to have happen is the Messiah was going to establish a righteous society, a righteous kingdom, or a righteous government, so you can understand wherein you was going to have the Israelites ruling. That goes back onto the prophecies within the book of Daniel, the 2nd chapter on the 44th verse. Okay, but when you're reading about these scriptures, one of the main things of the scriptures, the main topic of the scriptures is the bringing again, okay, of the 12 tribes of Israel. Okay, the Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans, so you can understand. And their seed that's scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. That's really one of the main topics of the scriptures. Okay, now let's touch into that. How many people do you really see going into that? Okay, they might tell you about some love, and they'll tell you about how you're supposed to be a good person. A good person according to what standard? Okay, a good person according to what rule? Okay, and then everything else that's said within the scriptures, everybody forgets about. But really the main thing that the scriptures speaking about was the redemption unto the 12 tribes of Israel. That's really like the main thing. You talking about for Lord the Most High loved the world so much that He gave His only begotten Son for what? To the redemption of the 12 tribes of Israel, and they was being redeemed because they went off on the law, statutes, commandments that the Lord has established. That's why you got scriptures like the book of Hebrews, the 8th chapter and the 8th verse, where it talks about how the Most High found folk, okay, within the Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans. Then He had to set up a new covenant, and this is where His Son came into it because He was the mediator to the better covenant. Okay, now let's go into the book of Joel, the 3rd chapter, right quick. All right, so the book of Joel. Bear with me. Okay, the book of Joel. Okay, the 3rd chapter. So Joel 3:1 it says, "For behold, in those days, this is the times that we're living in right now. Okay, because at the time of the end, you was gonna have it to where the Lord was gonna bring again His people. That's why you got the different teachers and the different prophets throughout the four corners of the earth pushing this word. That's why you had it to where the internet was created. The internet was created for what? It was created for the for this word to be pushed out there. Okay, so it says, "For behold," okay, Joel 3:1 it says, "For behold, in those days and in that time, when I will bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem." Okay, not everybody, because not everybody went into captivity. Matter of fact, if we segue into the book of Revelations, the 13th chapter. Here's what it says about Esau, who took our people down. And really, this goes for all the different nations. You check out the history, you find out that you had it with the Babylonians, which was what? Which was, I believe they was Elam. I forget. But you had it with the Babylonians. They had us in captivity. The Assyrians had us in captivity. Okay, and when they had us in slavery, okay, when they had when the Babylonians had Judah and who's it? It was just Judah. Okay, when they had Judah in slavery, you find out that they had what was known as slave merchants. So through the slave merchants, you had the dispersal, okay, going back onto prophecy of the Israelites throughout the four corners of the earth. So you had it to where all the different nations are underneath the sun. They had Jake underneath captivity, man. They had Israelites in slavery. Okay, you going into the times of the so-called modern day transatlantic slave trade. You had it to where you had slave merchants selling, the Arabs selling Israelites, okay, throughout the four corners of the earth. So all of these nations had the Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans in hardcore slavery. But let's see what the scripture says about them. Okay, so when the Lord was going to bring again the captivity of Judah, meaning to say He was going to take them from the position of being a slave, okay, to be in a position of being a king, okay, what was He going to do to the other nations? This is what the scripture says. All right, Revelations 13:9, it says, "If any man have an ear," so everybody's got ears, right? Okay, but the scriptures talk about how the Lord, when He was on the scene, He spoke to different people in parables. Okay, now why was He speaking to everybody in parables? Here it is, you go to where the Christian church will have you believe that the Lord came for everybody. But if He came for everybody, why was He speaking to people in parables? That's because the Most High had an elect. Okay, going into the book of Romans 11:7, what does it say? It says, "What then? Israel hath not obtained that which it seeketh for, but the election have obtained it." And that wasn't even talking about the whole world, and that wasn't even talking about the entirety of the Israelites. That was talking about the elect within Israel. Okay, going even further than that, the book of Galatians 6:16. Okay, the Most High has there was a Israel of the Most High. That means to say within the election, okay, within the called nation of all the 18 nations upon the face of the earth, there's a code within that the Most High was dealing with. But going back onto the scripture here, all right, everybody's got ears, but see, the election was going ahead and understand. And really, when you go into the scripture, this goes into the patience and the faith that the saints have, because when you're talking about how the saints, the ones that believe on the Lord, what is one of the main things that they're hoping for? They're hoping that their enemies from Esau onto Elam onto Ham, okay, because even the Hamites had Jacob in slavery. Okay, because you would have it to where the Babylonians would take Jake, the Israelites into captivity, and they'll sell them into the Hamites. They'll sell them out there into the Ammonites, the Edomites, and so on and so forth. Okay, this is the way of how slavery works. You have people in the slave market, and you go to where all the nations that was going to buy those slaves, and they was going to take them back onto their own land, okay, to be handmaids, okay, to work out there in the fields, and so on and so forth. Okay. But you got it to where the elect was going to hear that, and they was going to remember all of the different captivities that we're in, and especially the most recent one, where which you got graphic images, okay, of showing you that Jake was catching all types of hell, man, underneath Esau, okay. And the scripture says that that if any man have an ear, let him hear. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. So when the Lord was going to bring again the captivity of Judah and Israel, okay, meaning to say he was going to take them from the position of being a slave, he was also going to put these other nations in slaves. Matter of fact, when we go into the book of Psalms 149, I know I'm holding a couple of scriptures here. The book of Psalms 149 goes into that. Okay, Psalms 149 and 1, it says, praise ye the Lord, and this is what we're doing right now. Okay, this thing of coming out here and pushing this word, this is a thing of praising Yahweh Hashem outside. Okay, thanking the Most High that we have a doctrine, something that we can actually believe in. You go out there into these churches, or you go out there into these different religions, they're talking about loving everybody. But wait, hold on a minute. I'm supposed to love somebody that have me in hardcore slavery? The Most High ain't dealing with that. You go to the book of 2 Thessalonians 1:6, it says, if seeing it is a righteous thing with the Most High, Yahweh Ba'ashim outside, okay, to recompense them that trouble you. You go into the book of Revelations, what did the Lord say about those guys that pierced him in the belly? He said they was going to see me. And what kind of person speaks like that? That kind of reminds me of a Jake, man. Okay? Saying, look, I'm going to get you, man. Okay? So let's go into the scripture here, the book of Psalms 149 and 1. It says, praise ye Yahweh, sing unto him a new song. And this is the new song that we're singing unto the Lord. Okay, it is a renewed song in that we knew about the doctrine of the scriptures, the truth of the Bible, going back onto the times of King David and King Solomon. Okay, when you had the righteous Josiah, I believe Josiah was also another righteous king, okay, that implemented, okay, a religious reform, so to speak, within Israel. Now we're having that religious reform again, okay, where we're singing that new song, or that renewed song within our spirit of praising the name of praising Yahweh Hashem outside in truth and in sincerity. Okay, so it's a renewed song. Okay, praise ye in the congregations of the saints. Who are the saints? Okay, the book of Psalms 50 and 5, it says that what? The saints of the Lord are the ones that made a sacrifice unto Yahweh Hashem outside, okay, and made that covenant by way of that sacrifice. This is talking about the Israelites. Okay, the saints of the Lord ain't gonna be some Moabite that didn't make a covenant with the Lord by way of Moses. Okay, that's not how the Lord set it up. Okay, the saints was going to be the Israelites, man. That's within the book of Psalms 50 and 5. Okay, the second verse, let Israel rejoice in him that made him. Let the children of Zion be joyful in their king. Let them praise him in name. Let them praise his name. And this is one of the scriptures that we know we was going to have the name of the Lord. It was going to be revealed unto us. Matter of fact, you go into the scriptures or you go into the word prophecy, you find out that the Most High was going to reveal certain things to certain individuals within the earth, and that they was going to teach those mysteries unto the rest of Israel. Okay, that's why the scriptures, when we was in the book of Revelations, the 13th chapter, it said, but what? Okay, he that have an ear, let him hear. Okay, he that hear what? Hear what the scripture, he hear the mysteries of the scriptures, man. All right. So it says here, let them praise his name and dance. Let them sing praises unto and timbrel. Let me read that again. It says, let them praise his name and dance. Let them sing praises unto him with timbrel and harp. The Lord taketh pleasure within his people, man. You beautify the meek with salvation. This goes into the book of Psalms, the 37th chapter. Remember, it says his people. Go to the book of Matthew 1 and 21. What did it talk about? The book of Matthew 1 and 21, it says the Lord was going to send the Lord Yahweh, okay, the Most High was going to send a son to save his people. Who are his people? Okay, this was talking about Judah and Israel. Okay, it wasn't talking about everybody. Okay, this is the big mystery that's within the earth right now, because you go to where everybody can think that they can be saved, so everybody just does whatever they want. Okay, that goes for you Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans too. But when you come into the understanding of the scriptures, you find out that the Lord damn sure ain't dealing with no Elamite, no Ishmaelite. Now they might have some deep visions and some dreams and this, that, and the third. The Most High worked like that in the past, but it doesn't mean to say that these different individuals are going to be saved. You go into the book of Numbers, the 24th chapter, which I might get a little bit later on, in fact, because I ain't go into that in a little while. But you go into these scriptures, you see the prophecy, okay, the different things, the visions that was given unto that particular heathen. That don't mean that person was going to be saved. The Most High just used that as the vessel, man. Still, he's going into slavery just like all these other different nations is going to go into slavery. This is the judgment that the Most High has set forth for them. Okay, seeing it is a righteous thing to recompense them that trouble you. Okay. The 6th verse, it says, let the high praises of the Most High be in their mouth, and a two-edged sword in their hands, to execute vengeance upon the heathens and punishments upon their people. Here's the point: to bind their kings with chains and irons, and their nobles with fetters. Would you know that is? Okay, it's talking about that slavery, man. That's why you go into the history of the Israelites, the Negroes, you find out they had everybody from granddad to the grandchildren, okay, with chains, man. You go into different museums, okay, where they got the so-called history of slavery. You see chains for little babies, man. Okay, and you think the Most High wasn't going to do something about that? Now that was the punishment that came upon our people because we followed not the law, statutes, commandments of the Most High, but recognize what the scripture says. Okay, the book of Zechariah, the 2nd chapter or the 8th verse, we are the apple of the Lord's eye. The Israelites are the apple of the Lord's eye. Or if you want to put it in layman's terms, the Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans, that's the principal focus that the Most High has upon the earth. He says the nations are as a drop of a bucket. Okay, he sends if the Lord sends a tsunami out there into some heathen infested land, well, guess what? The Most High has done a good work. Okay, he said they're a drop of a bucket. They're insignificant, man. Okay, but the